Hi there. I'm late, but I'm a couple minutes early from my second message that I would be 7:15. So let's find me here. There I am. Let's turn my volume off. Okay, I bought a new laptop, so let's see what happens. Maybe we'll be lucky and it'll work. Okay, hi Sherry. I just said I bought a new laptop, so hopefully this is going to work. So my apologies, this is going to be a little disjointed. I had so much to do today that I didn't really have time to prep anything, so I started a card and I'm just going to complete it online. So let's see, what do I need to tell you? Just a week. Let's see, what's today? The 25th, 25 plus 7. Yes, a little over, about a week. Next Tuesday, the new catalog will go live. So that's exciting. Let me switch you right down to, and by the way, we're not using anything new today, but my card class is using all new stuff. Okay, let me switch you down to the desk here. There we go. Okay, so same host code as the last couple of weeks, PZTQVKWX, good through May 22nd, actually, not just May 20th. I am going to hold a full card class. I got official notice today from the urologist that I can have my, hi Stephanie, that I can have my knee surgery on the 11th. I did have my pre-surgical visit this morning and my blood work had a couple of questionable things on it. So I'm waiting to hear from the surgeon if he agrees that I can have my knee surgery. Anyhow, I think it is. And I think I'm going to be okay to have a card class on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So, okay, monthly workshop info. I'll just leave that up there for a second. If anybody wants to read it, they can freeze it and read it. Oh, let me see if I can get it out of the light. My light just keeps shining on. Okay, see what happens there. Look at it staying on. Hi, Kathy. Okay, Stephanie, make sure that you leave a message, just a hi, so that I can include you in my drawing for something from me and Stampin' Up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I watched a video from Jennifer McGuire. As you guys know, she is not a Stampin' Up demonstrator, but she's one of my favorite card makers, so I watch a lot of her videos. This was an old video, and it was about making stamps out of dies. So, you know, some of our Stampin' Up sets have dies that coordinate with them, but they don't really go with anything. This was what we're using today, artistically inked. And there is a die in here, and it's on my table somewhere. 2 dies in here that do not have stamps to go with them. So I'm going to make stamps out of these and fun foam or craft foam, whatever you want to call it. Now, I already did it with this one, and I'm not going to redo it because it was a big pain in the butt because of having to take all of those innards out. So I'm going to show you how to do it with this one, but let me show you what I've come up with so far. Because I have always liked these 2 dies, but I don't use it that much because it's just like you'd put an overlay over these, and I don't want to take away from those. So you'll see, I just completed my challenges on my Apple Watch. Okay, so you'll see all of the stamps. And we have these 2 stamps, and this one, this one, this. So all the rest of these actually go with the stamps, but these 2 did not. So here's what I did. I took a piece of craft foam. The first one I did it on a craft foam that has, I'll show you an example. Craft foam that has a sticky back on it, which would have been ideal because I could have stuck it to my Stamparatus and made it a stamp. However, because this is so intricate, it just peeled off all over the place. So I redid it on a piece of non-sticky backed craft foam. Oops, let me turn it this way. And this is what I ended up with. So let me tell you what I did. The lighter pink, which is petal pink, I did with all of these little pieces still inside of here. I inked it all up, the whole thing with petal pink, and then I stamped it, and then I looked at it, and it was, try to imagine this without the Flirty Flamingo, without the darker color. And that you can't tell that's Flirty Flamingo because it's stamped over the petal pink, so it changed a little. But if you think about it, all I saw were these insides of these and just the petals of the rose. And it just didn't do anything for me. So then I started peeling the little extra pieces out of the foam, and I went ahead and re-stamped it. You'll notice that I did not take them out of the leaves. I didn't take them out of everything. I just took them out of the two big flowers and the little swirls that were there. So that's how I did that. Now what I'm going to do, let me take that off of there. And I had to tape it on there. And I'll show you how I did that in just a second. Actually, let me just really quickly with my undo take that off of there so it's not in the way here. This stuff is amazing for taking sticky stuff off. You can take labels off of glass jars if you want to use the glass jars for projects or something. I do not want that coming off there though. So you just put it on, you let it sit for a couple seconds. I'm not waiting, and you can just scrape it all right off. And it's very, very gooey, and it gets all over your hands if you're not careful. So I'm going to use the paper towel to wipe the rest of it off. And there we go. I still have a couple of little tiny pieces there, and I don't want to get them on my hands, so I'm just going to do it this way. There. I will be cleaning that more thoroughly later. Hi, Pamela. Okay. So, Pamela, I don't know how much you've heard, but we are making stamps out of dies by using craft foam and cutting it out and then inking it up. So let me set this aside. This is what I did earlier. Oh, I got that all over the place. The nice thing is, you see these spots? By the time we're done today, those spots will have dried and you won't even be able to tell that they were there. That's the nice thing about the undo. Okay, still a lot of sticky on there that I've got to clean off in a bit. One warning, do not put these in the dishwasher. They warp and you can't use them anymore. So, all right, let me set that aside and bring in my die cutting and embossing machine. I've got to lower my table a little so that I've got good leverage. I'm going to take the leaf, I'm going to set it on here, put the cover on, roller through a time or two. Oh, I love that my computer is staying on now that I have a computer. Hi, Julie. Okay, I'm going to go through like 4 times just to make sure. So I'm making stamps out of craft foam, Julie, and dies. So I'm using the 2 dies from Artistically Inked set that do not coordinate with the stamp set itself. Okay, so that is that. Now when I peel that off of there, let me take this out of the way here. When I peel that off of there, most of the insides of the leaves and things should stay on there for now. Do it this way. Oops, no, it's going to come right off of there. Wow, that one cut very well. Much better than the flower did. Still got a couple of spots. Okay, and it's not that they're stuck, it's that they're almost like perforated. You have to peel them back. Okay. There we go. And one more. There we go. Okay. The nice thing about this particular stamp is that I'll be able to shape it however I want to on here. And you'll see some of those came out, but that's okay. I'm going to like that with some open and some not. It's going to look really neat. I will clean that out later. I have to figure out where I want this. All right. I am going to put it around the rose, and I don't care if it comes off the edge. Actually, I do, because I'm going to cut that edge off. I'm going to put it over here instead. Move this over here. Okay, I'm going to put this here on the edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, if I could find my Stampin', there's my Stampin' Seal. I think Stampin' Seal rather than Stampin' Seal Plus would be better for this. I'm just going to put little bits of tape on here and there. And it's okay if they're on the pieces that I'm going to be removing later, because the pieces will still come off. Unfortunately, it's pulling out some of those little pieces that I really don't want to pull out, but it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm just going to close the lid and pick up the stamp. Make sure it's on there good. Let me move over onto my mat here so you can see what I'm doing. I want that to be stuck down a little more, so I'm just going to put a little bit of tape there. There we go. Okay, and I want that one. Whoops, I just took all those out. Or get those off there, it'll make a mess. That one over here. I want that out of there. Okay, so I've got what I want, and I'm going to use Old Olive and Garden Green. I'm thinking Old Olive will be a little bit lighter, so that's what I'm going to use first. Oh, by the way, I do have the mat in here for shim, and I also have 2 pieces of cardstock under here, because this is much thinner than even the photopolymer stamps are, and I want to make sure that I'm getting a good, whatever you want to call it, image. Okay, and yes, it's making a mess on there, but that's okay. I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to, I think the magnet is probably going to keep that a little bit from, yeah. Okay, I'm going to just take that magnet out of there. Hopefully that'll still be okay. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, I'm going to put a little more. You'll see down here it didn't really hit. Okay, let's rub that. Got to use some elbow grease here. All right. I saw some people online complaining about the Stamparatus and how it doesn't stamp close to the edges. And somebody had a really good idea. She said she takes strips of cardstock, like 3/4 of an inch or a quarter or an inch or whatever, and she puts them right in here and then sticks her, the thing she's going to stamp, the cardstock she's going to stamp, right up against the cardstock strips that she's put in there. And that keeps it away from the edge, and it stamps just fine. And I just moved that, so I'm not sure. It's going to be a little bit off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there. I'm actually going to put this down here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and it doesn't really have to be cleaned off, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it off just to get the mess off of the plate as best I can. And I don't want to rub too much because I don't want to move the stamp. All right. Then I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to pick out the rest of these little pieces. And it shouldn't take too long because they're well cut. So I'm just going to have these all over the place in here, but that's okay. You guys wouldn't believe my messy house. I had both of my youngest, my littles over today, the 2.5-year-old and the 1-year-old. And they were only over for 2 hours, but they got every toy out, and I just didn't have time to clean it up. So it's still all over the place. I got to do that when I'm done here. I'm then trying to make up some meals for after my surgery, and I have 2 more meals to make up. No, 1 more meal to make up now. And then the kitchen has got to be cleaned. Oh my gosh, there's dishes everywhere. So I'll be doing that when I'm all done here. Okay, so these ones are stuck to tape. And it doesn't really matter if it gets knocked out of shape at all. Yes, it is a bit of a challenge. It's definitely not a beginner's type of thing to do. Although I am very confident that anybody that's come to my classes would be able to do this. So, and I have a couple that have only come once so far. So, and I think they could do it without any problem too. So, let's see here. Pull those out. This one's also on tape, so it's a little bit harder to get out. Actually, it's easier with the Stamp and Seal than it was with the Stamp and Seal Plus. So, and I don't really want them to be underneath when they fall out. I don't want them to be underneath the foam because that's going to cause a lump, and that's going to make a little bit different look than what I want. I'm not even sure that the Garden Green will show up on this. I'm almost feeling like I should have gotten Mossy Meadow out, or even a brown. I still could do a brown. Almost done. To remember to look up and check the screen. Get those out of there. Okay, let's do these top few. I'm just going to push them out, and then I'll sweep them off the grid here. This is such a neat idea for when you get a, you know, how many of us have, I have several times, how many of us have looked at a stamp set with a coordinating die set and said, oh, I wish there was a stamp to go with that die. You know, a lot of times we'll say, I wish there was a die to go with that stamp. But a lot of times also I will look at it and say, oh, I really like that die, but why is it in here? It doesn't coordinate with any stamp. It doesn't cut any stamp out. So this is a nice way to be able to add these to your card. I am going to make a card with this when I'm all done. So I think that'll be a thank you card. I've been making so many birthday cards lately. I think my workshop members might be getting sick of birthday cards. So you guys, if you are, you have to let me know what kind of cards you would like me to make. I'm up for making anything. All right, I think I'm going to leave them in the top. I'm going to go ahead and leave them in the top 2 leaves. Just going to empty the other ones out because those top 2 leaves are pretty filled in over here already anyhow. So, okay, there we go. And some of them have probably come out. Oh my goodness, there's going to be a mess here. Okay, close up the old olive. Look what I did. That always happens when I'm trying to close those. So much for my nice, clean, long nails. Oh, well. Okay. Garden green, here we come. I could have just used a Stampin' Spot and just put it in certain little spots, but let's see what we get here. Let's see. No, you can't really see a lot of it. It's not that different of a color. Let me put some more on, see what happens. Whoops. Oh my gosh, what a mess. So now I could leave this stamp, this foam stamp, in with the dies, but I think it'll be too messy. I'm going to go ahead and throw it away when I'm done here. Okay. Still, I'm not getting much down here. You know what? I don't have a shim there. That's why. The shim isn't that far under. I did get a little bit more. Okay, well, it didn't really change the color that much because the colors were too close. I should have used soft seafoam and then used garden green over it. And let me get this off of here and get this cleaned up. Goodness. My hands are going to be a mess, that's for sure. Hi, Bev. Okay, well, it's a little bit tinted green. I will take it to the sink and rinse it off when I'm all done. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, and we're going to go ahead and make a card with it. So first I'm going to cut it down. Whoops. I'm going to put a mat behind it. So I'm going to cut it down to, instead of 5 1/4 by 4, I'm going to cut it down to 5 by 4 or 3 3/4. So let me see. I want to cut a little bit off of this end. Oops, sorry. I want to cut a little bit off of this end to start, just to get that yucky stuff out of there. All right. And then I want to make it 3 3/4. And I think I'm going to cut a little off of each end. 3 3/4. Okay. There we go. And then I want it to be 5. And it is exactly, well, almost exactly 5. I don't think I can get this to trim that. Yes, I can. What do you know? Okay. I'm going to take that. We're going to take petal pink, and since I already have a petal pink that's the top fold landscape or top fold portrait, we're going to go ahead and do a top fold portrait. Let's see if I have anything in my. I do not. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I have Flirty Flamingo that I can use. I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo. Oh, is this? This might not be 4 1/4. Oh, yes, it is. Yay. Okay. Oh my goodness, you can't see what's off screen here, but my desk is a mess. Okay, so this one's going to be 5 1/4. All right, by 4. The other end is a little rough. Let's switch it. Whoops. 5 1/4 by 4. Let's go ahead and crease this at 5 1/2. 5 1/2. There we go. So how about that? The whole time it was not my Wi-Fi, it was my computer. The brand new MacBook is just staying on. Just please just punch with it. Okay, I am going to put this on here. Oops, got off a little bit. Like so. Then we're going to do thanks up in the corner. Block here. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and do that in black. Actually, I'm going to do that in gold. I'm going to do it in Versamark. I think I'll like that better. I'm going to put it right up here. Actually, I'm going to put it right down there. Okay. Right here on the bottom, like so. Look at my gold powder. Nope, I'm going to do it in copper. Copper's going to look even better with the pinks, I think. All right. Let me just take my brush, get that little spot out of there. There we go. Yes. Copper looks almost like a rose gold. So I think my powder's getting old because it leaves little puckers. You have to do it a little bit longer to get it nice and smooth. There we go. Okay. And then there's the lid. Very important. Put the lid on. Clean that. All right. Now, I am going to put, I'm going to do a little pop here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp these 3 little flowers on a piece of white, basic white stock. And I'm going to stamp them in, you know what, I'm going to do them in the copper. Yeah, I'm going to do them. Copper embossing. Yep, that got it. See how I feel about this. I may end up stamping it if I don't like how they emboss. Okay. That out of there. And smooth it out. That one's all smooth. The 2 littler ones are all smooth. This one's still a little lumpy. There we go. Okay, cool that off a little bit. Let's get the mini die cutting machine in. This on here. This is just kind of, hi Bev, just kind of winging it on the making decisions on the run here. I'm going to throw a couple of leaves. Garden green. No, I'm gonna, let's see. It looks too much like that. I'm gonna use Old Olive. I'm gonna do a couple of the smaller leaves too. Well, one at a time, obviously. Okay. Take my leaves out, my leaf out. And I could have stamped that, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I still could. I don't think I'm going to bother because I'm just going to, add a ribbon and I'm just going to tuck it onto that. So, okay. All right. Yes, I do like those. So, Bev, you're going to have to go back and watch, Bev Fisher. So I decided to do a tutorial on making stamps out of dies. So I used this artistically inked, and it has the 2 dies in it that don't go with any of the stamps, and I made stamps out of them, and then that's why it looks like this. And I have the brand new, this is part of, this is coming out in the new catalog. It's a dual ribbon roll. It's a 1/8 inch of the lemon lime twist and this 1/4 inch, I'm trying to get in there without wrecking the ribbon, 1/4 inch petal pink. And I am going to just put this here like this. It's a nice thick ribbon. Here, I'm going to put it here, piece there, a piece there. Just going to fold it over like so, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this right on the card, and then we'll put the little flowers on. I have to start sending thank you cards. I make them and then I don't use them. So I'm very pleased with how this turned out. All right, and then I'm going to take my little flowers and my little leaves. And we're going to pop them with some mini dimensionals. I might put it right about here, I think. Where did the 3rd flower go? Uh-oh, there it is. Smaller than that one. I didn't realize there was a smaller one. Okay. Ooh. Put that one there. And then I can use a bigger one on that. Actually, I'll use a piece of a smaller one. That's what I have handy. I'm going to go ahead and put that here. And then I'm going to tuck these in under the ribbon. So just put a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue on. It's probably more than I need. We'll put it here. I probably should have stamped these. Now that I look at them, they're kind of bare. Oh well. I could always take a pen and I think now that I've got glue over there, I think I'd like it better over here. All right. I think I would have liked it better if I did one of them flat too. Let's do this one flat. A little bit of glue on it. Stick it under those 2 like so. There we go. There. Yeah, I like that. So, there you have it. So I made the die. Oh, you can see the difference between the Old Olive and the Garden Green. It's not a big difference, but it is definitely a difference, a little bit of a difference. So I used the craft foam to make the stamps out of the dies, and then I inked them up and stamped using the Stamparatus because you're going to need to stamp more than once. And remember, I used, because it was a photopolymer stamp, I used my cushion, but then I also put 2 shims underneath it. Jennifer McGuire, who I watched, it was a video from November, I think, put 3 under hers, and that might have been fine, but I was perfectly happy with this. So, and then I'll just put a message inside. And that, oh, I did it in like half an hour. Yay me. Okay. So that's really all I have for you today, because I have so many other things to do in the house before I go to bed tonight. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me flip you back up here. Flip. There we go. My holder is falling over, so I have to duck down. That's why I had the thing up. There we go. Hi, Vicki. Thank you. Make sure you watch from the beginning so you can see how it was made. So remember that if you're watching, to just say hello so I can include you in my drawing tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock for a little present from me, a little Stampin' Up! Present from me for one lucky person. And so those of you who hopefully, those of you who come to my workshops have heard that I am going to hold a workshop. I'm going to hold it on May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So let me know what day you would like to come. I think I'll be fine then. The 13th, 14th, and 15th is only a couple of days after my surgery, and I do not think I would be ready to have company. So, but I think I'll be fine with another week under my belt. It seems like I will be. I was last time. So I'm looking forward to getting this done and getting back to normal and being able to walk without any issues and without any pain and just being Bionic Wendy. I'll have bionic knees. So, okay, everybody, if you have ideas for things you'd like to see me do online, please make sure to post them. You can post them right here, or you can private message me, or those of you who have my email, you can email me, text message, whatever. All right. Have a great week and, oh, look at my fingers. Have a great week and happy stamping, everybody. Bye-bye.